What is good? What is good, family, man? In this video, I want to show you guys and communicate and not prove indefinitely, but definitely give make a strong case for why I believe that the market really isn't as saturated as you think. And in my opinion, it's not really saturated at all. And that if you really want to win, like I've said so many times, if you really want to win in the corporate space, man, you got to raise those prices, right? Like saturated or not, you got to get your prices to a certain price point if you want to hit the six-figure years, the multiple six figures. If you want to really hit your agency year in stride, man, you have to raise your prices regardless of what the market says. But I believe it's not as saturated as a lot of people think. Okay. So before I dive in, man, I just want to appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me. I want to shout out a couple of people in the community that are doing big things. We got Nicole booking big bags. We got my boy Edward booking bags. We got Warren out here. Like, we really have some people that are in the corporate community that are really showing up and showing out. And I'm just really proud of them and just kind of happy to see their growth. And I really enjoyed being able to kind of give back to them and really offer that close mentorship or that close guidance that I know a lot of people are looking for, right? What's going on, Truth Faith? What's going on, man? Glad to see you tapping in, man. He's definitely part of the community, so good to see you here on the YouTube side of things. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right. And as always, man, make sure you stay active in the comments. I will obviously open it up for Q&A towards the end. I'm definitely going to try to keep this call to under an hour. I'll do my best. And y'all, let's lock in. All right. So I want to show you guys something. Okay. Now, you already know I did a little Chat GPT research. Okay. It's not going to be, I'm not a super technical, super scientific type of guy, but I do like to look at some sort of data or some sort of numbers just to kind of see what is going on. All right. And so I did some Chat GPT question asking, and man, look what I came up with. All right, so here we go. So this is what I want to show you guys. All right, number one, according to Chat GPT, all right, I guess we'll take it with 2 grains of salt. There are about 270,000 conferences/conventions held every single year, and that's just in the United States. Okay, so just let that number sink in. 270,000 conferences every single year in the United States. Some are 1 day, some are 2, some are 3, some are 5, some are 7. Okay, like, they vary in size and complexity, but there are 270,000 happening every single year. If we divide that by 12, let me do a little bit of math. That is 22,500 conferences every single month. How many is that per week? That is 5,625 conferences per week. What is that per day? That is, give or take, 803 conferences literally happened today. Whatever day you end up watching this, whether you're watching it live or recorded, 800 conferences and or conventions took place today all around the country, and you didn't shoot none of them. Now, I didn't either. Yeah, I didn't shoot the day. But my point is that I hope you understand, or I hope at least this first point puts into perspective for you exactly how big the market is. So when you talk about there's no clients, when you talk about there's no work out there, listen, I have tried to tell you guys, and I will continue to try to tell you, man, there is so much money flowing out here in the corporate space. And keep in mind, this is just conferences. We haven't talked about doing brand videos. We haven't talked about doing interviews that they want to play at the conference. We're not even talking about all that side work. I'm literally just covering conferences, and we're clocking it at 800 per day. And so if you want to hit six figures, right, for those that haven't done it, for those that want to go from 100K to 300K, if your day rate is 3,500, which is right around what mine is and what I recommend you strive to hit at some point, you only need 10 to 12 conferences per year if they're 3 days long, and you're going to hit six figures. So put that into perspective. If you can book one 3-day conference per month at this rate, you have hit six figures. And to put things further into perspective, y'all, that is less than 0.005% of the market. It is a percentile of a percent, like it's a percentage of a percentage. It's a fraction of a fraction. And you need one a month. And 800 happened today. And you need one. So with this first point, man, I really want to impress upon you guys, when I tell you guys that the corporate bag is the way to go, when I tell you guys that pivoting from weddings and portraits and dogs and 4-year-old birthday parties, pivoting into corporate conferences and more, when I tell you that that's the move, listen, I am trying to tell you guys, there is so much money out here moving. But as long as you position yourself and tap into what's already flowing, you like there is no way you're not going to benefit. Okay. So let's do this right now. Let's go to point number 2. This goes without saying, but man, having a higher day rate, having, higher prices, it shrinks your workload. So when I tell you about raising your prices, I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. I'm not saying it because it's going to give you a warm and fuzzy feeling on the inside. I'm saying it because, for example, if you charge $2,000 per day, you would have to book 17 conferences in order to make $100,000. But if you were at $3,500 per day as a day rate, that drops you down to 10. Almost cuts your workload for the year in half. It reduces the number of gigs you need, and it helps you focus on quality over quantity. And I do believe, or I do, it is my thought process that, especially in the beginning, when you have your year one, your establishing year, you need to be doing the best job you possibly can. And in that first year, you actually might only book 10 conferences like that. Like if you book 10 conferences your first year after making the pivot, man, like consider yourself a hero. Like that's a solid first year in the corporate space. But if your rates are higher, like I've said a few times, you can do less work and make the same amount of money, or do the same amount of work and make even more money. So either way, when it comes to the second point, raising your rates, it is just the logical decision you need to be working towards. If you feel like your work doesn't warrant that raise, I understand. Some people don't. But man, I need you to just start testing the waters. I need you to start, testing. Hey, I wonder if I can just bump it up $500. I wonder if I could just bump it up a little bit more for this client. Hey, once we hit July 1st, the halfway point in the year, man, no, regardless of how I feel about it, we're going up to a $3,000 day rate instead of $2,500. Like, just start taking some, it's not even risks, just start making some decisions in your business and ask yourself, man, what if it works out? Man, what if my next 3 clients book at that day rate? How's that going to affect my business? And how's that going to help me make more money without burning out? Okay. And of course, the last thing is, man, with literally hundreds of thousands of conferences happening, you're literally never short on opportunity. If one lead says no, and listen, even though I've heard no hundreds, even thousands of times, it still hurts when people say no. So I get it. It still hurts. But man, there are literally thousands of others happening in the same month. Now that you've heard this, now that you understand this, you can't unhear it. There's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of other conferences happening this day, this week, this month, this quarter, and this year. Knowing this, and what I hope for you is that knowing the sheer scale of the industry is going to make cold emailing way less intimidating, cold calling way less intimidating, reaching out to bark leads way less intimidating. You know, if you're sitting next to somebody on the plane and you strike up conversation and you realize that they manage events, it should make letting them know what you do and asking them if you can grab coffee later in the week, it should make that less intimidating. Whatever revenue generating activities you have or have not done due to fear, man, knowing this, I hope will help you feel a lot better about where you are and the fact that you don't need to book 100 clients. I think that a lot of people think they need to book 100 clients to make 100,000. You need to book dozens and dozens. It's not true. I think that, if you can book 10 to 15 clients, some will be smaller, some will be bigger. But if you can hit a certain average, man, I think 10 to 15 clients per year that you keep adding is a very good sweet spot. Obviously go for more if you can, but if you can hit one conference a month, man, trust me, in 2 years, now when you have 20 clients and then in year 3, now you have 30 clients, it's smooth sailing from there, guys. So just kind of out the gate, I wanted to impress upon you guys and help you kind of expand your mind to understand that, man, there is a lot of money out here. Now, brief aside, there are some people who are very pessimistic, and there's always somebody who will either comment or right now, while you're listening, you're going to be thinking it, but won't these big corporations and clients and conferences, won't they already have somebody? And the answer is you won't know until you reach out. That's the answer. But there are 270,000 conferences that happened last year. Do you think every single one of them had a primary shooter? I can tell you they didn't, because last year I booked a ton of new clients. And the reason I was able to book them was either a combination of, somebody on their team got quit or fired or left, and the new person didn't like who they had. And so they clear the board and they start looking for their own people. And I just so happened to connect with them at that time. That's one scenario. The second scenario is they have a guy. I have had people tell me like, yeah, we've had a guy for 15 years. He just retired. So now we have nobody. So the person left. The person did a bad job who they've been hiring. I literally had a consultation call today, and this is something that I shared with the community. I shared the consultation call. I had a consultation call today where, my client or potential client was like, hey, I asked them, why are you looking for somebody? She said, well, we have tons of conferences around the country and we hire a different person in each city. And the city that we're going to right now, we don't have anybody. So we need somebody. So this is just a few examples I could give you. But the point is, with this many conferences happening, there is no way you should ever assume that every single one of these clients and every single one of these people has a tried and true photo and video option that they would never discard or hasn't done anything wrong or whatever. Right? So, this first half of this video, of this discussion, man, you got to lock in. Okay, whatever. Listen. If you are one of those people that is like, well, I don't know, man, listen, I don't want this to sound mean, but I need you to go for it or just close your business. Okay? That's what I need from you. You cannot be half-stepping in anything, really, because if you're going to half-step with your approach, like I've said before in other videos on YouTube that you may have watched, if you're going to half-step here, you're going to half-step your pricing, you're going to half-step when you're on site, you're going to half-step in so many other nuanced ways that you might not notice, but the client will, and you're either never going to get the bag or you're going to fumble it as soon as you get it. So why even go through the trouble? So listen, I need you to be all in or I need you to be all out. But based on this right here, I need you to understand that if you go all in, there, like, the water's fine. Okay. Like, I assure you, the water's fine, but you got to make a decision. Okay. So anyhow, guys, before I go into my next point, just want to do a gut check with everybody, man. Shout out to True Faith Media Productions, man. Good to see you out here. Shot by Boomin says he is locked in, man. Thanks for locking in with me. Ankara Studios actually asked a question. I'm going to pop this up here. The question is, how do you come across conferences? That's a great question. You know, I have made a video about this on YouTube, but essentially there's two approaches, right? You're going to have your marketplace approach. You're going to have your paid approach. You're going to have not doing work for free, but doing free work. You're going to have repeat clients. You're going to have, and you can be an associate shooter. All five of those combined are what can allow you to book your first client and, bare minimum, help you start to at least get experience in the corporate space. So when your client does, man, bag incoming. All right. So all that being said, guys, I want to slide over to the second point that I want to make today. Okay. So you already know I slid over to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, based on a particular day rate, how many conferences would somebody need to book in order to hit a specific revenue target? So as you're listening to me, just take a glance at what I have here on the screen. Okay. Just take a glance. All right. Take a glance and examine this for 2 seconds. So let's start at the top row. Okay. If your day rate, and right now, most people, especially if you're in the community or if you follow my content, most of you should have a day rate that follows, that falls anywhere between these four categories: 2,000 a day, 2,500, 3, or 3,500. You should fall somewhere in there. And if you're below this, raise it. If you're above this and you're booking, man, kudos to you. Like, when can I buy your book? All right. But if you have a $2,000 a day rate, and a day rate is anything 8 hours or above, a full day of photo or video, man, if you want to hit $100,000 in revenue for the year, you have to work 50 days out of the entire year. And you can hit that doing you can hit that doing 17 3-day conferences. Does that make sense? So if you want to hit 100K and your day rate's $2,500 a day, you actually only need to work 40 days out of the entire year. That equates to about 14 conferences, assuming the conferences are about 3 days long. But this is when it gets sweet, y'all. If your day rate is $3,000 a day, then you only literally have to work 34 days out of an entire calendar year. So essentially 1 month, or a little bit over 1 month out of the whole year. And that equates to 12 3-day conferences. Last but not least, y'all, if you are in rare air, if you're charging $3,500 per day, which is what I hope you are striving to hit, this should be the end game. Anything above this is great, but if you can live here for a year or two and book consistently, your entire life is going to change. Okay. If you're at this price point, you only have to work 29 days out of the entire year. And that equates to only booking 10 3-day conferences, just 10. So in this first category, my question is, where do you want to land? Actually, let me back up. In thinking through this first category, where do you want to land? Do you want to make 100,000 this year? Do you want to make 200,000 this year? Do you want to make 300,000 this year? Well, based on your day rate, this will let you know, hey, you got to work half the year, right? Let's look over here. Let's say you want to hit 300,000. Corporate JT, I want the big money. I want the fat stacks. Okay, bet. Oh, you only charge $2,000 a day? Well, guess what? You have to work 150 days out of the year, almost half the year, and you have to book 50 conferences is what you have to book in order to hit 300K. Man, that's a conference every single week for an entire year. You will be burnt out, especially if you have to travel. It's going to be game over for you. Okay? You're going to be burnt out, or you're going to have a solid team in place, and you're going to have to be really good at managing personnel so that they don't get burnt out. Either way, you're going to work a lot. Okay? You are going to work a lot. Ooh, but wait a minute. Hold up. What's this down here? Man, if you charge $3,500 a day, you only have to work 86 days out of the year? And you only have to book 29 conferences? What? That's insanity, right? So that's literally cutting the workload in half, right? That means you're shooting a conference like every 10 to 14 days versus every 6 to 7 days. Now, at that level, you're still working a lot. But man, would you rather work 29 days this year, quote unquote, or 50 days? And so, listen, guys, this right here, take a screenshot of this, write this down, ask ChatGPT, hey, like ask ChatGPT to expound on this. But I want you guys to understand that when we talk about getting to the corporate bag, when we talk about growing and scaling your corporate photo and video business, I need you to understand that there are hundreds of thousands of conferences out there. And if you only, and if you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, even at the lowest price point, you still only have to book 50 out of 270,000. If you want to make 100K and you only got to book 17 out of 270,000. So the question I have for you, whether you're watching this live or recorded, is can you book 17 conferences this year? Like if I told you that there were 270,000 conferences and I asked you, do you think that by some, act of God, that you could muster enough wherewithal and savviness and business acumen to book 17 of those 270,000? The question is, do you think you could do it? And depending on where you are price-wise, like this is the number. This is the number. Now, of course, we may book a 4-day conference. We may book a 1.5 day, a 2.5 day conference. So obviously this isn't super scientific. And I know, hey, if you book only 1-day conferences, then of course these numbers go up. I get it. But my point is that there are hundreds of thousands available, and we're talking in dozens. We're not even talking about hundreds of clients. We're talking in a few dozen clients. And you can take a fraction of a percent of the market and change your life. Like that is the power of corporate. That is the magic that I've experienced in corporate. For those of you that have watched some of my other videos, I talk about that 3-year run to hit 200K. Year 1, my hope is that you'll book 8 to 10 clients. Year 2, my hope is that you'll book 8 to 10 clients. Year 3, even if you book 8 to 10 clients, but you retain a significant portion of year 1 and 2, then guess what? You should be hitting 200K. And even if your prices are at 2,500, you need 27 conferences. Well, if you got 8 from year 1 and 8 from year 2, that's 16. What do you got to do in year 3? 10. You see what I'm saying? So it all comes full circle. The numbers are the numbers. If you can dedicate 3 solid years in the corporate space, if you can fall somewhere in this range and show up with position, pricing, and authority, man, Bag incoming. Like, it's not rocket science. It's numbers. It's math. And the question is, though, are you going to make enough cold calls? Are you going to respond to enough bark leads? Are you going to just introduce yourself randomly to enough people? Are you going to introduce yourself as a corporate photographer and videographer enough to book a couple dozen clients? That's the question. You see, the math is not going to change. The numbers aren't going to change. And we're only probably going to continue to see more conferences happen. But the question is, are you going to put yourself out there enough? Are you going to position yourself well enough in this niche to demand and command and take your little 0.005% of the market you need to make six figures or more? That's the question I have for you guys. So listen, I'm not trying to preach up here, but I'm just trying to let you guys know. All right. I know people personally, people in the community are seeing this in real time. People are getting bags. Like, I'm seeing it and other people are seeing it. The question is, have you seen it? Do you want to see it? Will you do what you need to be able to see it? Okay. Anyway, guys. All right. So, all right. That being said, guys, man, before I go any further, man, I just want to just thank you guys for rocking with me, all those that are rocking with me in the community. Right now, guys, I want to just go ahead and open up the floor for Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, anything you want to ask me at all about any video I've ever made, about whether your team strobe or continuous light, like, go ahead and start dropping your comments, man. I'm going to give you guys just a couple of moments to kind of get your thoughts together. No rush. And go ahead and drop some comments, and let's have an open discussion about this or anything else. If you want to drop a win you've had, for those that are in the community, man, if you want to talk about a milestone you've hit, man, like, let's celebrate, let's really lock in, and let's get this corporate bag. All right. Let me see. So let me change something real quick. There we go. All right, so we are an open Q&A. Let me go over to the comments. Great question. All right, so this is D Styles 254. D Styles asks, if I know what tree I got to bark up to get that corporate video bag, who in orgs should I be reaching out to? So this is an incredible question, man, and shout out to you for asking that. So this is a good question. At a high level, people who are going to be heavily involved in the planning and execution of a conference or large corporate event is going to be your director of marketing. And sometimes that also might be phrased as marketing director, right? Same thing, director of marketing, marketing director. That's probably going to be your number one go-to person, right? Why? Here's why, though. Think about it. They are the high-level person that oversees the marketing efforts of this company, which also means they oversee the front-facing media of the company, photos and videos. So when there is a conference, the director of marketing is going to want to know, hey, we need videos. Who's talking about this in the interviews? We need this recap video. It needs to say this. It needs to have this verbiage in it. Like, they have a hand in it. Okay. And a lot of stuff will go up to them. So guess what? And even if they aren't the ones directly planning, whoever is planning will be under them. Okay. So number one, director of marketing, marketing director. Number two, I have had some clients, smaller organizations. You might be surprised. They still have bigger budgets. It may be the executive director. The executive director may be the one pulling the strings, making the final judgment calls, things like that. Okay. A few more obviously are going to be event planner or event coordinator. Okay. If you want to go on LinkedIn, if you want to use a prospecting tool like Salesforce or Apollo, those are some job titles you can start to look for. But there's one that I actually discovered recently, and it's called conference producer. That's one that flew under my radar for about 1.5 years. Yes, when you get to a certain level, a certain budget, $1 million, $2 million event, right? They don't just plan events, they produce events. They have stage, lighting, sound, audio, dancers, a band. Like it's a production. So also see if you can get in touch with conference producers, and that may be a great way for you to get tapped into that corporate bag. Okay, great question. Next question. Full of grace and truth. How do you come from a one-man band into a production company? Man, that's a great question. You just do. No, I'm playing. All right. So here's the thing. When you have a lead, when you reach out to an organization for a conference, you may think that you can do it by yourself. But when they say, hey, I need headshots, I need photography, videography, and interviews, when they send you a 5-page RFP that says we need at least a team of 3, you have no choice but to turn into a one-man band, or into a production company, quote unquote. You have no choice. Like, it's literally not an option, because there are a lot of clients. If you can do an event and do like photo and video, they'll let you, but there are some clients, no. 4-man team, 3-man team, 6-man team. Like that's just what we require. We don't want to miss anything. Now, why is it that way? I don't know. Maybe they've had some horror stories in the past. But the point is that once we switch into the corporate lane, if we want to switch into the conference lane, you literally almost have no option but to start building a team now, because I'm going to tell you, if you're trying to hit 6 figures and beyond, one day a client's going to email you, I need 4 people. I have a full budget. What do you got for me? And if you start stumbling and fumbling and stammering over your words, you don't know how to price it, you don't know who to call, you have nobody, what have I always told you guys? You're either going to fumble the bag or you're going to get the bag, mess up, and fumble it anyway. So a deeper answer is, okay, where do I start? How do I go? Like, what do I do? Number 1, go to your website, change all your verbiage. There's no more I, there's no me. It's we, us, the team, our, right? Those, I don't want to hear nothing about you unless it's the contact page and it's like, hey, hi, my name's Jarrell. I founded the company. But other than that, I don't want to hear anything about a single person. Everything needs to be us, we, ours, the team. Okay? And of course, the second thing, you already know is coming. You got to raise those prices, because if your prices aren't high enough, then there's not going to be enough meat on the bone to pay your people, and you have money in your pocket, or you'll be able to pay them, but you'll pay them pennies. And if you pay them pennies and I pay them dollars, then guess what? They will magically be unavailable for your event, because Jarrell called and said, hey, I'm about to pay you $75, $95, $100 an hour. And because your prices aren't high enough, you're only paying $30, $40 an hour. So full of grace and truth, if you are looking to kind of go and hit that agency route, if you're trying to make that nationwide push, change your verbiage, and you have to raise your prices, or I promise you, you're going to hit a lot of roadblocks and a lot of bottlenecks in your business. Okay. Dante, in the community, I put this in the corporate community. Shout out to you, man. But I got invited to an event planner expo in New York in October just from connecting and pitching my services. Man, listen. There is no rhyme or reason to who is going to punch your ticket, pull your card, all the euphemisms I use. There's no way to know when it's going to happen. But if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. Does that make sense? Of course it does. You have to do it. You have to introduce yourself. Like I say, if someone asks you right now, hey, what do you do? Even when I had a 9-to-5 job, my answer was, I'm a wedding photographer, because I was at that time. If somebody asked me right now, hey, what do you do? Oh, me and my team, we travel the country to document conferences nationwide. So it's very, very true. You have to be the solution. You have to become the owner and not the shooter. Okay. Shout out to you, Dante, man. Thanks for tapping in with the community. I have several videos productions from one event. Is it okay to use multiple takes from this one event, or should I diversify my portfolio before charging and cold calling? Okay. I hear you. So you have several videos from one event, though. It was still the same event. So, so if somebody did some digging, quote unquote, they'd be like, "Oh, that's the same event." Yeah. I hear you. Here's the thing: you got to start calling. You got to start charging. You got to start cold calling right now. I'm gonna give you guys a quick example, not a story. I started doing video in 2023, January. I videographied my first conference in May of 2023. Okay. Did I say 2023 or 2025? Anyway, 2023, May, 5 months later, I shoot my first conference. I had 1 3-minute recap video. It was mid. All right. Wait, did I just say that? My bad. My daughter's that lingo is just goodness. Let me the video was up to par. How about but from that one video, I didn't even have multiples. I had one video. I was able to book my next conference, which was in New York. Then by the end of my first year, I only had literally 2 recap videos. But then 2024, ooh, that's when the money started coming in. Okay, that's when we started to diversify our portfolio. So let me tell you something. Put it all in there and start getting the bag. Okay, put it all in there and start getting the bag. Now, one thing I will say as a brief aside, David J. Finkley, PhD, make sure that if you do have the same event that you break it into like don't have 2 or 3 recap videos. That's redundant. The 3 categories, and I'm going to talk about this in deeper into the community at some point. The 3 categories of videos that corporate clients, like everything is going to fall into these 3 buckets. Number 1 is a interview, right? Just a straight interview, A cam, B cam, key light, audio, hair light, blah. Interviews, brand videos, which is an interview with B-roll footage, right? Like, hey, an about me video, things like that. Hey, here's our story, right? We saved the cats. Now we're a nonprofit, right? That's a brand video. And number 3 is a recap video, right? B-roll, interviews, drone shot, call to action. 3 categories. If you can put 1 video in each of those 3 categories, I like that. But if we're just talking about like 2 or 3 recap videos of the same event, me personally, I probably wouldn't do that. Just pick the best one and put that on your website. Okay. Shout out to you. Let's see. Here we go. For the paid leads, where do you run ads? IG or LinkedIn? And what does the context of the ads look like? Man, that's a great question because I don't run ads, man. I don't run ads. Okay. Let me tell you guys something. Well, I'll put the ads aside, but I do actually want to touch on IG. Okay. LinkedIn, I believe there could be some gold hidden there, but I haven't personally been able to discover it. Now, it's not because I've tried and failed. I literally haven't tried. But what I believe is the best way to tap into the conference area is the cold approach and the marketplace approach. Good old cold calls, cold emails, mass emails, reaching out, potentially networking events, which I guess is kind of like a semi-cold, warm approach where you meet somebody, they don't know you, and then you exchange information. And then the marketplace approach, Thumbtack, Bark, or whatever other marketplace is available where your client is already looking for you and they're on this platform and you just have to position yourself on the platform to be found. Okay. But let me tell you why. Think about it. If I'm director of marketing, and I'm going to actually specifically talk about IG, and I'm going to address this in a video I plan to, record in the coming weeks. But if I'm on IG, I'm the director of marketing for this company. I'm planning a big conference. I do not have a team yet. When I go to Instagram, right? Instagram is it has the algorithm tuned to what I like to watch. So guess what? I'm the director of marketing. typically going to be a woman who's in her 30s and up. What does a woman who's in her 30s and up want to watch on IG? Is she watching videos about the latest photo and video gear? Is she watching videos about the latest tips and tricks or specs of a camera? Is she watching anything that would make the algorithm send her more camera stuff? Or is she watching, stuff on her favorite destination, how to drink more water, workout, tips, how to, which new latte, like, is she watching that stuff? Or is she watching something that's going to bring her closer to you? Odds are she's going to watch something that has nothing to do with hiring a photographer or a videographer. Also, people who are on a certain level, when they're sending out RFPs, they're not going to Instagram to find people to send an 8-page RFP to. If you watch that conversation I had with Jaron Collins, the biggest project he ever bid on was around $90,000. And do you think that he got discovered on IG for a $90,000 corporate project? Do you think that that's how they found him? No. So for me personally, I have never sent a single ad since I made the pivot into corporate photo and video, and I haven't needed to. But what I discovered was that, man, there's just certain avenues and certain protocol that these people use to find their shooters. And it's usually not IG. It's usually not IG. Now, if you want to run an ad and find out, be my guest, but I do not plan on it. And for those of you that don't remember, True Love Studios, my company, does not have an IG. We don't even have one. I had one at one point. I was inactive on it. I thought I was going to reactivate it back in February. I posted like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, this is a waste of my time. This is not how, like, the activity I put on here has not brought me any closer to a corporate client. I'm still growing. I'm still scaling. So I just deleted it. So I may be a little different than most people, but man, you don't need Instagram. You don't need a lot of these websites, social medias. You really don't. And even, me here on YouTube, I'm not trying to find a corporate client here on YouTube. I'm trying to help you guys get to the corporate bag. But I was getting to the corporate bag before I started YouTube. And if I shut down my YouTube channel right now, the bag is still incoming. Okay. So I know that, ads can get you a faster, quicker ROI. But man, let me tell you, in the corporate world, man, it's not going to take you 10 years. It's not one of those things that's going to take you 10 years to scale up, man. If you're in the right place, right time, pricing, positioning, authority, just like I talked about earlier in the live, man, you don't have to find 1,000 clients. You need a dozen clients this year, and a dozen next year, and a dozen the year after. 6 figures almost guaranteed if you're priced correctly. All right. Matthew, what up, fam? Hey, y'all, shout out to Matthew Reed, man. Like he said, with the with the headshot looking like a mega church pastor. Shout out to Matthew. Shout out to Matt, his beautiful wife, man. Proud of you guys, what you guys got going on over there in Austin. And yes, if you guys are looking for a dope videographer in Austin, Texas, man, Matthew would definitely be somebody to catch up with and connect with. All right. So I don't see any new questions right now. So you guys already know I'm going to throw it in there. So just go ahead and get ready. But man, listen, if you are not tapped in with the corporate community, you are missing out. Point blank, period. There are people in the corporate community getting to the bag. There are people in the corporate community learning the nuance and the subtleties of how I've been able to get to the bag and how they're going to be able to get there as well. Even just today, I had a consultation call with a client, and I posted that in the community so they could see exactly what I say, how I say it, the order in which I say it. The client ended up booking the project right there on the call, $5,000 bag in there. Okay. So when I tell you in the community, if you feel like you've been running your business by yourself, if you just made the pivot into the corporate space, but you literally looking like a deer in headlights, okay, what do I do? if you've been watching a lot of my videos, but there's a few missing pieces that you'd like me to fill in the blanks of. And of course, last but not least, man, if you just want to be able to ask me questions, if you want to be able to shoot me a question, comment on the video, and you get a real answer from me that day, man, the corporate community is where you need to be. All right. If you're trying to get to that 6-figure mark, this is going to get you there faster, easier, and more efficiently. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to the corporate community as one does. And I just want to encourage you guys to tap in with me. All right. So anyway, guys, a quick gut check. We are at 45 minutes, man. If anybody has any other questions that you'd like to, anybody has any other questions that you would like to bring to my attention, feel free to drop those. A couple more minutes. But if I don't see anything, then I will probably bid you guys adieu, and I will catch you guys on the next video while I get this back. So any more questions, guys, let me know. I'll pause here for just a second. All right, all right. No questions, no questions, no questions, no questions. All right, y'all. Well, that's it, man. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So anyway, man, I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Appreciate everybody from the community who came on over and tapped in. Listen, if you are trying to grow your corporate photo and video business, man, I really hope you know you are actually in the right place, man. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tap in with the community. If you haven't already, man, make sure you download the free corporate pivot checklist. If the community isn't something you're ready for, grab the checklist for free. It'll kind of help give you that jump start you need. And as always, guys, as always, man, let's get this corporate bag, man. I'm out.